Hello, and welcome to Endgame Law Services. Do you have an appointment today? You don't? Okay, well, let me see. I do have a little bit of time in my schedule. Why don't you have a seat and tell me why you've come into my office today? You need to file a suit against a superhero? Okay, let me just pull up my program here so I can take a few notes about your situation, okay? We do get this quite a lot. Now, why are you filing the suit? Or why would you be interested in filing a suit against a superhero? The damages they caused? Okay. This is actually a very common problem. People often find themselves the victims of careless superhero damage. And why should you have to pay for all of that damage or the replacement of any property that they've destroyed? It's not your fault that they were in such a hurry to save the world, so it should not be up to you to have to pay for the damages. So yes, we do quite a bit of this work. Now, do you know which superhero caused the damage that you're reporting? Okay. And is that an assumption, or did you make a positive ID? You did make a positive identification? Okay, excellent. That does always make things easier when we don't have to prove which superhero it was. And on that subject, how did you make the positive identification? Did the superhero happen to say their name, or are you identifying them by the costume they were wearing? Did you get photographs? What method of identification are you using? Okay. So it sounds like you have a pretty positive identification, which is going to give you a much stronger case. However, currently we do have a class action lawsuit in the works against that particular superhero. If you would like, I can include you in that class action lawsuit. That's fine with you? Okay. Let's just get you entered into the system then. So I'm going to need a little bit of information about you. Can you start by giving me your full name, please? Okay. And what is your current address? Street and city and country, just in case you're not in this country. Okay. And what is the zip code on that? Okay, thank you. And what is your phone number? Just a good number that we can use to get a hold of you should there be any developments, or if we have any further questions and need additional information. Okay. And do you have an email that we could get as well? Just in case you need to send over any forms for you to sign or anything like that. Okay. Now, what kind of damage was it that the superhero did? Okay. And what was the date that this damage occurred? yes, if there are multiple instances, please let me know multiple instances. So let's start with the first one. Okay. And then what type of damage occurred during the second instance? Okay. And what address did this damage occur at? Or, was it a different address than your current residence? Or did it occur at your residence, the address that you just gave me as your current address? It did occur at your residence? Okay. And is that a private residence, or is that something that you share with others, or maybe a second home or recreation property? It's your primary residence? Okay. And was there any other type of property damage not related to the property itself? Maybe a vehicle or recreational equipment, something like that? Because if a superhero destroys something of yours in the line of duty, why should you have to pay for that? So, was there any additional damage? No? Okay. And what was the estimated total of damage to your property? Both events, yes, if you have both of those figures. Okay. And the second instance? Okay. And do you have any work orders or estimates verifying that? You do. Did you happen to bring those? You did. Okay, great. Thank you. And is this an actual work order or just an estimate? This is an estimate for the second damage? Okay. Okay, you can have that back now. Do you happen to have a receipt for the work that was repaired after the first amount of damage? And do you have that with you? Okay, great. Thank you. Just copy down some info of this. You're very prepared. That makes it so much easier. All right, there's that back. And do you have any photos of the property damage? Before and after pictures would be great. Okay, great. And can you just email those over to me quickly so I can put them with my notes here? Okay, let's see. Yep, there they are. Thank you. And just to be clear, what I'm looking at here is the damage and then what it looked like before the damage as well as what it looked like after the damage was repaired. Am I correct with the 3 photos here? Okay, great. Now, do you have any evidence that this particular damage was in fact caused by said superhero? Were there any pieces of costume left behind, or was it witnessed by neighbors? It was witnessed by both of your neighbors. That's excellent. Makes a good, strong case when you have witnesses to corroborate you. And do you think those witnesses would be available to testify if that became necessary? quite likely. Okay, great. Now, did this damage occur while the said superhero was in flight, while they were stationary, or while they were otherwise situated? Okay. And were either you or a member of your immediate family or anyone who dwells with you in that residence being rescued at the time of the damage occurrence? No? Okay, that's perfect. Yes, if somebody were to have been in the process of being rescued, the superhero would be exempt from legal action in such a case because it would have been a situation where the damage was necessary, such as they might need to burst through the house to save someone, in which case no legal action can be taken against them. But no. Okay, great. Now, was the damage restricted to just the property, or were you or anyone else who resides in the household injured? Okay. And now before I actually have you sign the forms to make you part of this suit, I need to make sure that you understand that if you become part of this class action lawsuit, you will be bound by the outcome, whether that means that you get a settlement payout or not. So, even if you receive nothing, by being part of this class action lawsuit now, you are ineligible and waive your right to sue this particular superhero at a later date on yourself for this instance. Yes, you can sue the superhero at a later date should additional damages occur, but this particular damage you are no longer eligible to sue for on your own if you choose to become part of this class action lawsuit. You understand and you're fine with that? Okay. And I also need to make sure that you understand that by being part of this class action lawsuit, you give the superhero discretion to decide whether or not they wish to save you at any time in the future should an event arise where you require assistance. Yes, basically that means they can decide that they simply don't want to save you, and you can't do anything about that if you become part of this class action lawsuit. That one is in perpetuity, yes. No, it does not prevent any other superhero from saving you, nor does it give them the discretion to choose not to save you. Every other superhero must still abide by the superhero code and save you should assistance become required. Okay, you're fine with that then? Great. All right, I'm going to need you to sign this form here. Oh, let me see, I got a pen here. Here you go. Yeah, just sign on each page and initial each page right at the bottom there. And then on the last page, you'll have to sign and print your name. And please put down the date as well. And you can go ahead and read all that. It just kind of lays out the basics of the suit that we are forming and that you will now be part of. And again, it goes back over everything stating that you cannot pursue legal action against this superhero later on your own for this particular case. Yep, just go ahead and sign if you're good with that. Okay, thank you. Just let me put in a little more info here. And like any other case, anything that you say here is protected by the client confidentiality agreement, so you don't have to worry about any of the superheroes ever finding out what you think of them, good or bad. It will be protected by the client confidentiality agreement, so you have no worries there, okay? So I will keep you informed of all developments on this case, and will let you know when a settlement is nearing and whether or not you will receive a payout as a result of that settlement, okay? So, yes, we'll generally send it to you by email, and if we need you to come in or give us any more information, then we will reach you by phone, but otherwise we will be communicating by email, and there will probably be a few additional forms you'll have to sign in the future, okay? But for now, you're all set, and consider yourself part of the suit, okay? Great. Thank you for choosing Endgame Law Services, and have a wonderful rest of your day, okay? Thank you very much.